making, and hopefully they will.
I'm sure it's a lot better than what we had. I think a lot of people waking up today delighted that we have probably a new start.
Commentators expect a different type of Prime Minister from recent personality-driven leaders.
I think Enda Kenny will engage much more with the Irish people. Brian Cowan was known to be a bad communicator and didn't engage with the Irish electorate at all, and that was seen as a part of his downfall at a time when we really needed leadership and someone to keep us informed.
Irish voting usually produces coalitions, and Fine Gael will already be negotiating with the Labour Party behind the scenes about who gets the top positions. Brian Cowan, the outgoing Prime Minister, will soon vacate this building behind me, the offices of the Taoiseach, which is what they call the Prime Minister here. And Enda Kenny will install himself, prepared to tackle the many challenges that Ireland faces. Those challenges include bringing unemployment down, implementing several years of austerity measures, and trying to persuade the EU and the IMF to change the terms of Ireland's bailout.
We believe that the interest rate, which was set as a penal rate, is too high, that too much of the burden of adjustment is being placed on the taxpayer in the banking resolution, and there is an attempt to push for very rapid resolution by way of fire sales. We believe that none of those are appropriate.
The Irish people have punished their former leaders with political oblivion. They're hoping the next lot are up to the job of cleaning up the mess. Rory Challens, AlJazeera, Dublin.
The French Foreign Minister Michel Alliot-Marie is expected to resign sometime on Sunday over a scandal engulfing President Nicolas Sarkozy's government. Alliot-Marie has taken a public battering since taking a holiday to Tunisia during the country's popular uprising. She flew there in a plane belonging to a businessman with alleged ties to ousted President Ben Ali. Nicolas Sarkozy is expected to address Alliot-Marie's resignation and the situation in Libya in a television appearance on Sunday evening. That's all from London for the moment. Time to go back to David.
Thank you, Lauren. It's not just across Middle East and North Africa and in Russia too that there are protests at the moment, people demonstrating. This is India, partly because of the food that's rotting in storehouses while people are going hungry. It is a humanitarian problem and a lot of people are turning out to say what they think. It's also sending inflation skyrocketing. Here's Prerna Suri.
United in their demand, women from all over India protesting against rising food prices.
It's getting more difficult to raise our families. Prices of rice, potatoes, onions, everything has gone up. We can't afford to pay this much for the basics.
This anger, simmering for many months, has now spilled onto the streets. Inflation in this country touched 18% last year, and high food prices have hit people right across India. But part of the problem, experts say, lies here. India's agricultural system hasn't been modernized in years, and its farmers are given little incentives. Farmer Satveer Singh prepares his field for the next season's crops. But he says he's received little support from the government.
I work on my fields because it's my life. But I never get fertilizers, power or water on time. This really affects my production.
Those who can sell their produce face another hurdle. While India has enough grain to feed its people, what it lacks is a proper distribution system. Under the current system, stockpiled wheat sits mouldering, sometimes for years. A new system would enable it to get to the people that need it the most during times of high demand. This is where the Indian government stores the grains it buys from its farmers. But as you can see, most of the grains have been lying outside and they've been damaged by the weather. Now, officials here tell me that this produce has been lying here since the past 3 years and they can't sell it to the people outside. And at a time when rising food costs is a big concern for the people in this country, it seems all of this produce is just going to a total waste. Experts say long-needed agricultural reforms are vital if the current hardship is to be eased.
Last agricultural revolution took place in the mid-60s. Now you require a second revolution of building infrastructure to store food grains and be able to deliver them in the same condition in which they were procured. The government has done nothing of that sort.
So while policymakers debate on how best to tackle rising prices, people hope their voice will now force the government to act. Prerna Suri, AlJazeera, New Delhi.
Farah's here with the sport. She's going to talk about all sorts of things, but I'm watching the cricket score
I know
down
you
here.
are. I know you are. Because it's the match cricket
close.
fans have been waiting for. Right now, India are taking on England in what is turning out to be a thrilling match in the group stages of the World Cup. India won the toss and elected to bat. Batting legend Sachin Tendulkar starred with the bat, hitting 120 to help his side to a huge total of 338. Tim Bresnan was the pick of the English bowlers, taking 5 for 48, but the visitors are making a game of it. They are 237 for 2 off 35 overs, with captain Andrew Strauss getting his century. Moving on to Italian football, where fourth place Lazio are away at Cagliari. Lazio can leapfrog Inter and go up to third if they win this match, but luck was on Cagliari's side in the first half. The home side took the lead when Andre Diaz stumbled to score an own goal 5 minutes before the break. And the latest there is Cagliari 1, Lazio 0. Now, Roma are also in action. They're taking on Parma at home. New coach Vincenzo Montella is looking to continue his perfect start as he makes his debut at the Stadio Olimpico. Francesco Totti's penalty put Roma 1-0 up, and Juan dos Santos eventually made this their second with just a few minutes left in that match. Parma have just pulled one back. Latest score there, Roma 2, Parma 1. In the early game in Italy, Catania beat Genoa by 2-1. Despite Genoa taking the lead in the first half through Antonio Floro Flores, the home side struck back with 2 goals in 5 minutes after the break. Gonzalo Bergresio with the second to take the points for the home side. Now, these are the other matches taking place in Italy on Sunday. Bottom side Bari are drawing at home to Fiorentina. Fifth place Udinese are handing out a footballing lesson to Palermo. They are 7-0 up. Alexis Sanchez with 4 goals and Antonio Di Natale with 3. The late game sees third place Inter Milan visit Sampdoria. To football, also in football, Barcelona have extended their lead to 7 points at the top of the Spanish Primera División after their 3-0 win at Real Mallorca on Saturday, starting just 4 points ahead of rivals Real Madrid. Barca were hoping for their 23rd win of the season. And 7 minutes before halftime, Lionel Messi scored his 26th goal of the campaign to put the visitors on their way. David Villa added a second after the break, beating the offside trap to rout the keeper to score. And halfway through the second half, Pedrito Rodriguez sealed the win for the Catalans' final score, Real Mallorca 0, Barcelona 3. Meanwhile, second place Real Madrid could only produce a goalless draw away at Deportiva La Coruña. Despite dominating large parts of the game, the closest the visitors got to scoring was Cristiano Ronaldo, hitting the woodwork late on. Final score 0-0. Now, Arsenal are getting ready to face Birmingham for the English League Cup final at Wembley Stadium in just a few minutes' time. The Gunners have a chance to win their first trophy since the FA Cup in 2005. While Birmingham's last major trophy was back in 1963, Arsenal are the favourites to win, but they will be without injured captain Cesc Fabregas and winger Theo Walcott for the final. Instead, Dutch striker Robin van Persie will be leading the team. Now, there are 2 matches taking place in the English Premier League on Sunday. Liverpool saw an end to their great run of form after losing 3-1 to struggling West Ham at Upton Park. In the other match, third place Manchester City are hosting Fulham. The latest score there is 1-0 to City. To tennis, and it was third time lucky for world number 3 Vera Zvonareva in Doha. The Russian stunned world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki in the Qatar Ladies Open final on Saturday. Sana Hamouche reports.
An exciting week of tennis in Doha provided the final everyone wanted to see between number 1 seed Caroline Wozniacki and 2nd seed Vera Zvonareva. Wozniacki had been in the form of her life recently, winning in Dubai last week and ruthlessly getting to the final here after 3 very comfortable wins. But it had been a much tougher route for Zvonareva, who had 2 really tough battles in the quarters and the semis. But the Russians started the better, breaking straight away and dominating the match with plenty of attack and shots to take the first set 6-4. And there was more of the same in the second set, with Zvonareva playing the more controlled tennis and securing a crucial break in the 5th game, leaving the world number 1 frustrated. And after 1 hour and 48 minutes, the 2nd seed runner-up, the last time this event was held in 2008, held her serve to take the match in straight sets, and she was delighted about it.
definitely a very special moment for me. I'm always love coming back here. I really, I have so many fans here. It's just unbelievable, and because of them, I think I was able to pull through this week, and I've done so well.
Well, there was a bit of a surprise in this final here in Doha. World number 3 Vera Zvonareva has won the Qatar Ladies Open and denied world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki her 14th title and second in a week. Sana Hamouche, AlJazeera, Doha.
Well, Novak Djokovic's great start to the tennis season continues after a victory over Roger Federer in the final of the Dubai Championships. And it was a convincing victory. Djokovic saw Federer 6-3, 6-3 in just 71 minutes to win his 3rd successive Dubai title. The win adds to his Australian Open victory, not to mention his part in Serbia's Davis Cup win in December. And that's it for sport for this hour. Back to you, David.
England 246 for 2. It's getting close. Now, will it be a coronation or a coup? Hollywood's biggest night of backslapping. The Oscars gets underway in a few hours, and every year it is one of the world's most watched television events. Actually, I think the film's worth watching, not so much the show. But the films about a stuttering monarch and an upstart internet billionaire are tipped to battle it out for the very top awards. Here's Rob Reynolds on the red carpet.
Final preparations are underway for Hollywood's biggest show. This year, there are no blue-skinned space aliens and just one special effects blockbuster in the Best Picture category. Dramas take center stage. Here's the list.
What'll I call you? Your Royal Highness.
The King's Speech is the story of an accidental monarch's struggle with stuttering and self-doubt. The film stars Colin Firth, who is also nominated for Best Actor.
You really need to relax.
Black Swan harrowingly portrays a prima ballerina's artistic triumph and simultaneous descent into madness. Natalie Portman is a front-runner for Best Actress.
This is something I just never allow.
In The Kids Are All Right, a lesbian couple's teenage children contact their biological father, nearly destroying the family. Annette Bening has a Best Actress nomination. James Franco finds himself literally stuck between a rock and a hard place in 127 Hours, a graphic survival story directed by Danny Boyle. Best Actor nominee Franco also hosts this year's Oscar broadcast. Westerns are among the most venerable of movie genres. In True Grit, Best Actor nominee Jeff Bridges is a whiskey-swilling, syllable-swallowing, straight-shooting lawman who helps a young girl track down the bad guy who killed her father.
Who are you?
The ruthless digital frontier is examined in The Social Network. Jesse Eisenberg's channeling of unlikable